Project managers want to deliver projects within budget. Project cost management includes finance and accounting techniques. We use these techniques to select projects, to estimate costs, to develop a target budget, and to track our project status accurately so we can hit that budget. Project cost management does have a reputation for being one of the more difficult topics, and that's probably because many project managers have little experience with accounting and finance. However, the trick to learning these topics is to relate them to your own family finances. If you can do that, you'll find them pretty common sense and perhaps one of the easier topics on the exam.
Project cost management is made up of accounting concepts, but we'll just be scratching the surface of accounting. The exam only expects you to recognize these concepts and understand where to apply them. Here's our familiar view of the major process groups. There are only 4 project cost management processes. As usual, there is a planning process, which produces the cost management plan. Estimate costs is the detailed work of creating many cost estimates for all the pieces of the project. Determine budget assembles all the pieces into an overall project cost performance target. In addition to these planning processes is the control cost process, which is a monitor and control process. This process includes the earned value management techniques that are often considered some of the most difficult topics on the exam. The processes and their major outputs are a logical system of creating a budget and managing from the budget, just as you might if you had a household budget. Planned cost management produces the cost management plan, which we recognize as a component of the project management plan. That provides guidance to the other processes. Estimate costs is the detailed work of estimating every cost, whether materials, labor, equipment, or outside services. Do you remember the basis of estimates? We saw this in the project schedule management lessons. The basis of estimates describe the underlying facts and assumptions that were used to create each estimate. Gather up all of the cost estimates, add in management reserve, which we discussed in the risk lessons, and you will determine the budget. Project funding requirements describe how much money is needed and when. For example, if you purchase a car, you don't need to pay cash for the full purchase price. The funding requirements would describe how much you will need up front and then monthly to make payments and cover other expenses. The cost baseline is our target and is used during control costs, so we can see whether we are spending money as we had expected. The cost baseline is one part of the performance measurement baseline, which integrates cost and schedule and scope. Although all planning is iterative, at the high level, you can think of building the performance measurement baseline in this way. The scope baseline was decomposed into work packages. The work packages were further refined into activities, and the schedule was created based upon those activities. We estimated resources that were necessary to accomplish the activities by the proposed schedule. Cost estimates reflect the activities and work packages and the resources required. The schedule also influences costs as it lays out the expected rate of performance and dictates the time of year that activities will be performed, which might influence their cost. From this brief introduction, you can see the overall process is intuitive and common sense, establishing and managing a budget just as you would for a family. The managerial accounting and project accounting concepts are also mostly common sense. Perhaps the most difficult part of project cost management is not understanding the concepts, but simply memorizing the formulas.